In a world where monsters surged forth from numerous interdimensional rifts, menacing the very survival of all earthly creatures and sowing pandemonium far and wide. Yet, in the midst of this chaos, there stood a man of immense power and an unwavering spirit. He faced the colossal monster with a composed presence, as energy radiated from his body. Out of nowhere, a blue light emanated from his eyes, and in an instant, a colossal blue energy beam, seemingly originating from his hand, obliterated the gigantic monster standing before him. The man looked like a martial arts expert of considerable prowess, emitting a mystical aura from his body. The scene shifted to a young man named Lu Sheng, who slowly lifted his head, wearing the lingering expression of bewilderment that often follows waking from slumber. At the lectern, the middle-aged man adjusted his glasses on the bridge of his nose, and fixed Lu Sheng with a gaze filled with contempt. He repeatedly faces scolding from his teachers for dozing off in class and poor grades. But there's a deeper issue haunting Lu Sheng: recurring nightmares that leave him fatigued and affect his sleep. These nightmares, which feature a desolate and terrifying world with wandering monsters, have been tormenting him for 3 days. Lu Sheng's blood value, a crucial metric in his society, drops by 0.02 as a result of his restless nights. The pressure to improve it intensifies his anxiety. Despite his struggles, Lu Sheng has a few friends, including Lu Qiming, who invites him to go online after school. However, Lu Sheng chooses to return home early to catch up on sleep, much to Lu Qiming's surprise. As he walks home, Lu Sheng's mind wanders between his current life and memories of a different world, where there were no monsters or martial arts. He longs for the peaceful and quiet life of his previous world, contrasting it with the relentless academic pressure he faces now. At home, he finds his father suffering from an injury, and his mother trying to help him with a plaster. Lu Sheng suggests buying a blood moxibustion instrument to aid his father's recovery, but his father declines, focusing on Lu Sheng's qi and blood value instead. Lu Sheng is burdened with guilt as he hides the fact that his blood value hasn't improved. He escapes to his room, reflecting on the complexities of his life and the secrets he carries as a time traveler from another world. Lu Sheng returns to his private room, which serves as his sanctuary and martial arts training space. He is determined to combat the decline in his qi and blood values caused by recurring nightmares. Lu Sheng practices a modified form of martial arts body training, a popular exercise regime in a world plagued by monstrous threats. Despite his age, he believes he should be experiencing a surge in his blood values. As he diligently performs his exercises, Lu Sheng reflects on the turbulent world he lives in, where monsters have changed the course of history. Martial arts have become a vital means of defense against these creatures, and the development of martial arts has progressed rapidly. Despite human efforts, they remain at a disadvantage in the battle against the monsters, and towns continue to fall regularly, causing a drastic decline in the human population. Lu Sheng's head teacher reminds him and his classmates that they bear the responsibility of practicing martial arts to ensure the rise of humanity in these trying times. After an intense exercise session, Lu Sheng hopes to recover from his declining blood values caused by his nightmares. He remains perplexed by the cause of these nightmares, eliminating sleep position, diet, and disease as potential factors. He considers whether the stress of the impending college entrance exam is the root cause. As he contemplates, sleepiness overwhelms him, and he succumbs to slumber, once again entering the same unsettling nightmare. In this eerie dreamscape, he encounters a horrifying humanoid figure, resembling a zombie from his previous life. Lu Sheng, still within the confines of his recurring nightmare, faces a one-piece jumpsuit-wearing zombie. Despite initial fear, he decides to confront the creature rather than run away, reasoning that it's just a dream and death might be a way to wake up faster. Lu Sheng, confident in his physical abilities, engages in combat with the zombie, delivering powerful kicks and punches. Though the zombie proves resilient, Lu Xing eventually defeats it with a crushing blow to the head using a stone. As he catches his breath and reflects on the vividness of the dream, he is taken by surprise when the defeated zombie disintegrates, releasing a surge of memories and emotions into him. Lu Xing experiences the life and memories of the zombie, a young and brave warrior who fought against monstrous beasts in a world on the brink of collapse. He witnesses the hardships, camaraderie, and despair that characterized the warrior's life. The memories are filled with scenes of battles, broken city walls, and impending doom as monstrous creatures and a pervasive black fog threatened to engulf the world. Moved by the profound sadness and suffering he's witnessed, Lu Xing ponders the experiences of the tall zombie in his past life and the torment of living through such dire circumstances. Lu Xing, within the dreamlike nightmare, reflects on his newfound abilities. He has become exceptionally strong, able to defeat zombies with ease, and he believes that absorbing the memories of the defeated zombies is responsible for this enhancement. As he continues to engage with zombies, Lu Xing becomes more proficient in combat and acquires additional skills. He discerns that the combatants wear jumpsuits, making them his preferred targets for memory absorption. The memories offer glimpses of the world's deterioration, but Lu Xing remains detached, treating the dream as a game. Seeking clues to unravel the dream's mysteries, he decides to find Base 1359, the origin of these zombies. Suddenly, a loud banging on his door in the real world awakens him. A clear female voice informs him that it's time to eat, pulling him out of the dream. Lu Xing responds to his younger sister Lu Qinghe's impatient call for him to join the family for dinner. Lu Qinghe, the family's martial arts prodigy, is only 16, but already surpasses Lu Xing in many aspects. She boasts a blood value exceeding 1.0, an impressive combat index, and studies in the prestigious Baihe No. 1 middle school. Her potential is such that she could secure a spot in Wuhan's top universities in just 2 years. Lu Xing, on the other hand, is about to turn 18, and his blood value is only 0.78, making him appear mediocre compared to his sister. After acknowledging his sister's request, Lu Xing reflects on the strange dream he just had, where he gained enhanced combat skills and strength by defeating zombies. He is surprised to find that these skills and physical improvements seem to have carried over into the real world. During the meal, he surprises his family with his increased appetite, consuming 7 bowls of rice. Lu Qinghe, while initially critical, is reminded by her father that Lu Xing's development is natural during puberty. Despite this, Lu Xing remains introspective about his apparent increase in strength and contemplates whether his blood value has truly risen. He sets out to confirm these changes through a series of tests, eager to explore his newfound potential. Lu Xing uses his phone's navigation to locate the nearest martial arts gym, Hongchuan Wuguan, close to his home. This gym appears modest in size and decor, nothing exceptional. An enrollment advertisement at the entrance catches Lu Xing's eye, promoting classes taught by Nai Hongchuan, a level 4 warrior who excels in family boxing. The ad describes Nai Hongchuan's achievements, including a top 10 finish at the 23rd Baihe City Martial Arts Exchange. Notably, the ad highlights the term, Level 4 Warrior, indicating that such warriors possess a peak blood value of over 200 and a combat power index exceeding 100,000. Lu Xing contemplates the immense gap between his current abilities and those of a level 4 warrior, recognizing the vast improvement required to reach such a level. Despite his interest, Lu Xing dismisses the idea of enrolling in the gym due to financial constraints, realizing that such instruction is typically reserved for wealthier individuals. Instead, he decides to take a blood value and combat effectiveness test to assess his current abilities. He enters Hongchuan Wuguan and interacts with the receptionist, a friendly young woman who directs him to the testing room. Lu Xing undergoes blood value and combat effectiveness tests using a printer-like device at the martial arts gym. He pricks his left middle finger, with a disposable sterile needle and places a drop of blood into the instrument's groove. A soft beep announces the successful test result. His blood value registers at 0.963, a significant increase of nearly 0.2. This tangible proof that his dream experiences impact his real-world abilities fills him with excitement, knowing that he's progressing beyond mediocrity. Realizing that his dreams are turning into practical improvements, Lu Sheng feels an intense desire to excel in martial arts. He yearns for a brighter future, as he's no longer willing to be an ordinary individual. His blood value increase from hunting and killing zombies within his dreams has become a driving force for his pursuit of greatness. Encouraged by his blood value results, Lu Sheng proceeds to assess his combat power index. The testing equipment, as tall as a person, features a cushion-filled groove at its center. Channeling the skills he absorbed from the one-piece suit zombie in his dreams, he punches into the groove. The force gauge registers a score of 113, indicating his combat power has exceeded his 0.96 blood value. Lu Sheng conducts several more tests, recording consistently strong results. He reflects on the requirements for admission to martial arts undergraduate programs, noting that he's already close to meeting the criteria. With the prospect of entering a prestigious martial arts university within reach, Lu Sheng feels optimistic about his future, regardless of whether he continues to experience his empowering dreams. Following his tests at the martial arts gym, Lu Sheng returns home, eager to enter his empowering dreams once more. However, he realizes that he has lost sleep due to his heightened energy levels and clear mind. He decides to engage in some physical exercise to alleviate his restlessness before bedtime. He understands that when the blood value increases, it's essential to engage in high-intensity training to maximize the effects of the increase. As he begins his familiar regimen of body exercises, Lu Sheng suddenly experiences a peculiar sensation. He recognizes that he's instinctively performing a different set of movements, one he's never learned or practiced before. This realization stirs his curiosity, and he comprehends that these new movements are linked to the martial arts memories he absorbed from the two jumpsuit zombies. Intrigued by the newly acquired body training technique from the memories of the two jumpsuit zombies, Lu Sheng decides to give it a try. He quickly realizes that this method involves a staggering number of movements, over 200 in total. However, due to the inherited memories, he finds it surprisingly manageable, as though he had practiced these moves countless times before. As Lu Sheng delves deeper into this training, he experiences an extraordinary sensation. With each movement, a peculiar tingling sensation courses through his body, akin to a scalding electric current. The intensity of these sensations is unlike anything he's ever felt. He reminisces about a similar feeling when he first attempted the 24 postures, an event that occurred many years ago. Focused and determined, Lu Sheng continues practicing the technique. If anyone were observing him, they would witness his body contorting and flowing through a sequence of intricate and graceful movements. The entire process possesses an unexpected beauty and fluidity, captivating any onlooker. However, a sudden wave of hunger strikes him, and the void within his stomach incessantly underscored the pressing demand for an abundance of energy. And there's just one explanation for this. Lu Sheng's blood levels have surged once more. Nevertheless, he came to the realization that conventional meals no longer sufficed to supply him with the essential nutrients he required, and only medications or top-notch herbs could satiate his hunger. Yet, given his present household income, there is no way he can afford that sort of pricey stuff. Lu Sheng came to the understanding that if circumstances persisted as they were, his growth rate would diminish. So, he decided to earn some money by obtaining the scholarship reward. However, in order to achieve that, he needed to demonstrate his capabilities. Upon returning to school, Lu Qiming remarked to Lu Sheng that it was peculiar how the teacher hadn't reviewed their assignments that day, and it had been quite some time since their last practical combat lesson. However, as Lu Sheng undressed, Lu Qiming was utterly surprised when he beheld his friend's well-defined muscles. He explained that Lu Sheng had undergone such a drastic change in just 2 days that he could hardly recognize him. Lu Sheng replied by mentioning that his hair had also grown longer, so it was about time for a haircut. However, Lu Qiming retorted, saying that Lu Sheng was merely trying to catch the eye of girls, and all the hard work he had put in was solely for today's practical combat lesson. Lu Sheng responded by stating that they were not cut from the same cloth, and with exams approaching soon, he advised his friend to start preparing. As he walked, Lu Sheng thought to himself that this time, there was absolutely no excuse for him not to flaunt his abilities. In the training arena, all the students congregated around their instructor, named Zhong Jinghua. He informed them that he would be revisiting the fundamental combat techniques discussed in class. Lu Qiming whispered to him that Instructor Zhong was a second-ranked martial artist and had encountered those beasts on real battlefields, evident from the scars on his right arm. However, Lu Sheng remained unimpressed, as he believed that Instructor Zhong's techniques were overly basic and lacked refinement. He considered the techniques he had absorbed from his dream to be far superior. After concluding a series of impressive punches and kicks, he invited Yang Yifei to showcase his techniques to the classmates. A young man with blonde hair and a strikingly handsome face emerged, capturing the attention of the girls, who viewed him as a model figure. To them, he is not just handsome, but also the strongest in the class. On the other hand, Lu Sheng's friend didn't particularly like him, because he always seemed to steal the spotlight every time. He believed it to be unfair because he possessed not only good looks and wealth, but also had access to top-quality pills, and his vitality was approaching 1.2. He was also a favorite among the teachers, making it seem impossible for either of them to attain his level of favor and success. In his thoughts, Lu Sheng would have agreed with Lu Qiming if he were his former self. However, he had changed. Now, he was determined to seize whatever he desired with unwavering resolve. Following the battle's conclusion, Instructor Zhong addressed Yang Yifei, commending his proper form, but noting concerns about his balance. He mentioned that next time, he would offer more guidance on refining his movements and expressed optimism about Yang Yifei's bright future. Nonetheless, in his inner thoughts, Yang Yifei scorned Teacher Zhong, considering him a mere low-ranked martial artist, and he felt Teacher Zhong was insignificant compared to his own family. He even quipped that in comparison to cannon fodder, it was natural for him to have a promising future. Instructor Zhong turned his attention towards the students and inquired if any of them would like to engage in a sparring match with Yang Yifei. Lu Qiming commented that they couldn't even come close to matching that guy. He'd simply overpower them. So why bother challenging him? During discussions about practical combat exercises, the students often displayed a reluctance to participate, behaving like ostriches that wished to bury their heads in the ground. This left their instructor, Zhong Jinghua, frustrated as he wondered how he could effectively teach them in such a state. Rumors circulated among the students, accusing Zhong of favoring the top performers in the class. However, what these critics failed to recognize was that, apart from students like Yang Yifei, very few dared to step forward and accept his guidance in challenging situations. Zhong Jinghua observed the students, feeling increasingly disappointed with their collective hesitancy. Just as he was about to select a student at random, his attention was captivated by a particular student with calm, deep eyes who dared to meet his gaze. This exceptional individual stood out from the crowd. With newfound enthusiasm, Zhong Jinghua chose this remarkable student, Lu Sheng, to practice with Yang Yifei, making a clear and resounding announcement of his decision. Many students are surprised to see him being selected as a training partner, as he is not someone who typically gets chosen for such activities. Despite the speculative looks from his peers, Lu Sheng remains calm and composed, accepting the role. As he stands up and approaches the training field, his teacher, Zhong Jinghua, is momentarily taken aback by the aura of strength and confidence emanating from Lu Sheng. It's as if he sees a fierce and experienced warrior rather than a regular student. Zhong Jinghua is impressed by Lu Sheng's physique and wonders why he hadn't noticed this promising student before. When asked his name and questioned about his previous blood test score, Lu Sheng introduces himself as Lu Sheng and reveals a score of 0.802 for his last blood test. Zhong Jinghua is somewhat surprised by the relatively low score, given Lu Sheng's appearance and demeanor. In this scene, Yang Yifei, a highly regarded student with a remarkably high qi and blood value of 1.22, prepares to spar with Lu Sheng. Before the fight begins, Yang Yifei reminds Lu Sheng about his elevated blood value and the potential intensity of the match. Lu Sheng acknowledges the warning casually. As the fight is about to start, Yang Yifei charges at Lu Sheng with incredible speed and agility, impressing both their teacher, Zhong Jinghua, and the watching students. The female students in the crowd are particularly intrigued, and even Lu Qiming, who had been watching Lu Sheng with a skeptical expression, seems to have high expectations. However, in a shocking twist, Lu Sheng swiftly and effortlessly counterattacks, sending Yang Yifei flying 5 to 6 meters across the field before he crashes to the ground. The suddenness of Lu Sheng's victory leaves everyone in disbelief. Lu Sheng, on the other hand, remains standing in the center of the field, seemingly unaffected by the fight's outcome. The venue falls into an eerie hush as everyone processes the astonishing turn of events. Even Zhong Jinghua, their teacher, is initially stunned but quickly realizes the situation and instructs others to help Yang Yifei to the infirmary. Lu Sheng attempts to explain to his teacher that he didn't intend to use such force, but his instincts took over in the heat of the moment. Zhong Jinghua dismisses Lu Sheng's explanation and hurries him away from the scene. As they leave, the other students in the venue engage in heated discussions and express astonishment at Lu Sheng's unexpected display of power. Lu Qiming, in particular, is left in a daze, trying to comprehend the incredible turn of events. At the office, Zhong Jinghua questions Lu Sheng about his previous blood test score of 0.8, given his extraordinary combat performance. Lu Sheng reminds Zhong Jinghua that he had asked for the results of the last test, which indeed was 0.8. Despite his initial fierce demeanor, Zhong Jinghua decides to conduct another blood test immediately to confirm Lu Sheng's current abilities. Lu Sheng agrees, and after a short while, the results are in. When Zhong Jinghua reviews the test results, he is left in a state of shock, joy, and disbelief. Lu Sheng's blood value has skyrocketed to an impressive 1.532, far surpassing the standard for a first-level warrior. Additionally, his combat power index stands at a remarkable 192, which is significantly higher than expected based on his blood value. Zhong Jinghua is at a loss for words, and his complex emotions are difficult to describe. He inquires about the timing of Lu Sheng's last test, and Lu Sheng informs him that it was less than a month ago, with a private test taken just a week prior. Zhong Jinghua is left awestruck by Lu Sheng's incredible potential and talent, realizing that they may have discovered a true martial arts genius in their school. Zhong Jinghua reflects on the fact that even in his actual combat class, there hasn't been a first-level martial artist under the age of 18. Zhong Jinghua explains that typically, a warrior's combat power closely aligns with their blood value, and significant leaps in combat effectiveness occur when transitioning from level 3 to level 4, where martial arts skills become more critical. Zhong Jinghua suggests that Lu Sheng has the option to apply for the school's top class based on his current grades, which indicates his academic prowess. However, Lu Sheng declines this offer, expressing his desire to remain in his current class. Zhong Jinghua agrees with this decision and acknowledges that the cultivation of qi and blood values primarily depends on individual effort, while the school's role is limited to teaching practical skills. He recognizes that Lu Sheng has surpassed many of the teachers in terms of martial ability. Finally, Zhong Zhenhua asks if Lu Sheng has any requests or requirements that the school could help with. Lu Sheng seizes this opportunity to make 2 requests. He wants to apply for the school's martial arts scholarship and hopes for more free time to dedicate to his physical training and personal exploration, believing that it will accelerate his growth. Zhong Zhenhua agreed to his requests and suggests to offer him a special scholarship worth 30,000 yuan and promising additional support from the school. Lu Sheng expresses gratitude and asks that his improved academic performance and treatment at school not be disclosed to his family. After Lu Sheng leaves, Zhong Zhenhua becomes excited and proud of having a talent like Lu Sheng in his school. He plans to keep Lu Sheng's abilities a secret until after the college entrance examination and anticipates using him as a secret weapon to impress other schools. In the central shopping mall of Baihe City, precisely within a store named Wu Yao Tang, his mother and sister seem deeply absorbed as they examine the array of products displayed on the counter. Lu Sheng, reflecting on the cost of his father's purchase of nourishing blood powder for him, realizes that each pair of this common tonic costs a staggering 3,000 yuan. Lu Sheng also understands the weight of the financial burden on his parents. His younger sister, Lu Qinghe, has a similar aptitude for martial arts, and their father, Lu Dehai, can provide only 4 sets of nourishing blood powder per month for both siblings, their family's limit. If all 4 were given to Lu Qinghe, her progress would undoubtedly surpass her current level. These thoughts intensify Lu Sheng's determination to make money, both for his own practice and to support Lu Qinghe's martial arts journey. He contemplates the sacrifices and the sense of fulfillment he has gained. As Lu Sheng walks home from the mall, he encounters high school students heading to an internet cafe, reminiscent of his past life when he was adrift without a clear direction. However, he now feels content with his path and has no regrets. Suddenly, Lu Sheng experiences a breakthrough in his martial arts understanding. His previous bottleneck is shattered, and he gains a new level of comprehension as if something clicked into place. This newfound clarity and mastery motivate him to further enhance his strength. Lu Sheng resists the urge to immediately test his newfound abilities, and instead hurries home, knowing he might face questions from his parents if he's late. In a familiar wilderness, Lu Sheng's presence goes unnoticed until a burly zombie detects him and rushes toward him with a menacing growl. Without hesitation, Lu Sheng swiftly engages in combat, delivering a quick succession of moves that ultimately defeats the zombie, absorbing its memories and growing stronger. Along the way, he dispatches several more zombies, filling gaps in his martial arts knowledge. His boxing skills continue to advance steadily. Lu Sheng presses forward through the shrouded wilderness and finally sees it, a dilapidated and magnificent structure slowly emerging through the dispersing gray mist. It's the legendary base 1359, a sight that should have filled him with dread considering his memories of the place. Running tirelessly, Lu Sheng spends over half an hour reaching the foot of the colossal city. This is the state of urgency that has driven him onward. The size of the giant city is beyond comprehension. This city's walls remind Lu Sheng of an anime from his previous life, where a besieged city resisted the onslaught of an evil giant. But the city before him is on an entirely different scale, its walls seemingly impervious to any force. Yet, amidst this seemingly indestructible barrier, there are massive, shocking tear marks. The city appears as a colossal, fractured bowl with countless gaps, an image that chills Lu Sheng to the core. The despair he witnessed in his memories likely represents only a fraction of the city's true horrors. In a sudden twist of events, Lu Sheng spots a formidable zombie within a massive building. However, a single glance at the zombie sends shivers down his spine, making him quickly retreat in fear. Lu Sheng realizes that this zombie is of a high caliber, and he wisely decides not to engage with it at this moment. Lu Sheng continued his cautious navigation through the city, expertly maintaining a secure distance from the roaming zombies. His experiments had determined that a gap of approximately 10 meters was the threshold for staying undetected and avoiding their hostility. Amidst his exploration, he stumbled upon an abandoned house and decided to investigate. Inside, he found a dwelling divided into several modest rooms, with limited overall space. A dining table in the middle of the living room bore scattered tableware and utensils. As Lu Sheng continued his exploration, he entered a room and spotted a palm-sized disc resting on the desk. Curious, he placed his thumb into the groove, and suddenly, a soft female voice emanated from the disc. At that moment, the blue light on the disc swiftly coalesced into the form of a woman. But Lu Sheng was taken aback when he realized that she spoke the same language as him.